Hey there, Bill Sherck, the man about the woods for the Minnesota Historical Society. I have an idea for you. You need to visit the Forest History Center near Grand Rapids. You can learn about the history of Minnesota's Great North Woods and also the lumberjacks who lived and worked there. You can explore a recreated 1900s-era logging camp on the Mississippi River. You can also visit a 1930s forest ranger's cabin. You can climb the fire tower, walk the trails, and check out interactive exhibits about Minnesota's forests of yesterday and today. Learn more at mnhs.org/Forest History Center.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Minnesota Bound podcast, the stories behind the stories. It is host chat day today on the Minnesota Bound podcast. Bill Sherck is hanging out in the room with me today. Bill, how are you?
I'm great. I'm a little more relaxed than you are. Like you are
Got a lot of energy today.
packing and ready to roll. You've got big plans coming.
I do have big plans coming up. 4th of July holiday, of course, is coming up this weekend. So everybody's getting ready for some rest and relaxation, lake time. But Dan, my boyfriend, we are heading to Alaska. So I have been packing for that trip for a few days now. There's like a list of things you need in Alaska, and it's going to be a little chilly there. So,
All right. So
we'll see.
Everyone is wondering, what does Laura Schara pack?
What don't I pack would be a better question, right?
Are you clothes and all that stuff, or are you gear rats? I mean, what do you pack?
Layers. So this is, I think, when you spend time in the outdoors, you really learn. As a female, I'll speak on behalf of females. Maybe we have a tendency to run a little colder. You know, like if it gets chilly out, might get a little colder faster than a guy. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But so I always pack layers. I've learned the hard way when you get out there and you don't have the right gear as far as layers and warmth, then I'm miserable. So when I have enough of the layers in the gear, and then you can kind of handle any weather situation, you end up having a really good time, and you're not so worried about, are my fingers cold, my feet are cold. So when it comes to gear, that's where I make sure I'm covered as far as warmth. And even if they say it's going to be like 65, I plan on it being like 45.
You would have been an unbelievable Boy Scout. The
Really?
motto always being
Over-prepared?
Be prepared.
Oh, yes. I don't know if I would have been able to pass that test where you had to make the fire from sticks, but so yeah, that's where we're headed. We decided that we're going to go on a bucket list adventure, and we kind of were looking around of, do we do Alaska is so vast, of course. So we thought, do we do the Alaska cruise? And then that seems cushy and fun. But what I was worried about with the Alaska cruise, not that it doesn't sound fabulous, you get to see a lot of Alaska, of course. But, the excursions, when you've been on a lot of outdoor excursions, you like them to be unique and different, and probably with less people, versus more of I don't want to call it a canned excursion, but something that has a lot of people, or, just going into town looking at art or whatever. So I wanted to make sure that we were doing something just so kind of off the charts unique. And we decided that we wouldn't do the cruise, and we were going to fly into Anchorage, and we're going to climb a glacier, or do some ice climbing on a glacier. And it's the Matanuska Glacier.
Yep, the Matanuska Range.
Yes.
I think it's called, yes.
Something like that. And this excursion takes you out. So you have to get to the glacier via helicopter. And the helicopter will drop Dan and I off with one guide. And we are left to make it out. But really, no, we're left to kind of use the glacier as a playground all day. So this guy, we can do some ice climbing. Apparently, we get to explore a lot of the glacier. And then we spend the night on the glacier, and it's a kind of a glamping experience per se. And they have the guide, and they make, appetizers and cocktails and a little dinner over campfire, and then they make you breakfast the next morning. And then you take the helicopter back into town, and your day is done. But it's just so unique to be able to sleep under the stars in such a vast, probably extremely quiet environment that I am looking forward to what that experience is like.
Will you do me one favor?
Yes, always.
While you're there, like that famous survivalist guy on TV, the one who sleeps in hotels at night.
Yeah, exactly. That pretends that they're frozen.
Will you just call it a glacier?
Is that what he calls it?
It's time for me to scale this glacier.
Oh boy. Yes, I will do that just for you, Bill. I'll take a video and send it. But
Thank
I want to
you.
have cell service. Dan, he is very much an adventurous guy, and we love to go hiking and do all that stuff. But he did not grow up fishing and hunting per se. He's like, he did a little bit of fishing with his grandpa, but his family was a sports family, so they were basketball and soccer and all those things. That's what he did growing up. And he's always game to do anything, but he, I said it'd be fun to sleep on the glacier. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And the other night he was asking, I was like, oh, we have to remember to pack cell phone chargers. And he was like, well, do you think they'll have a generator or something out there? I mean, how are they going to keep the tent warm? And I was like, yeah, there's no heat in the tent. And he was like, what? And I was like, oh, it'll be fine. They'd give you a ton of down blankets, but he hasn't had a winter camping experience.
Yeah.
And I was saying that you probably get the best sleep you've ever had in your life because it's so good for you when the temperature's so cold, to sleep. So, and he'll do great. So it should be a really fun time. I'm looking forward to it.
So if you survive life on the glacier,
yes,
and make it out alive, then what? Where do you go?
And then we are headed back down into Anchorage, and we might do a little bit of fly fishing. I'm not sure yet. We're actually going to we're going white sturgeon fishing right before we leave for Alaska. So I'll be doing that this coming Monday. We're going on the Fraser River in British Columbia.
Yep.
So that's also a bucket list thing to do. White sturgeon are huge.
You saw the story this week, right?
Yes. I mean, massive. And they do conservation efforts there. And of course, if you want your picture with a sturgeon, you can't take it out of the water. So you hop in the water. And they're just like dinosaurs. I mean, they can live to be 100 years old. So I have this passion for chasing just giant fish, catch and release. And this guide up on the river has a lot of success. So I thought, you know what, it'd be fun. It's only 2 hours, 2.5 hour drive, I should say, from Seattle. So it's really easy just to zip over there and come back. And so we're going to do that little fishing excursion too.
And by little fishing excursion, she means fish that are 12 feet long, 15 feet long.
Exactly.
Right? And you see these headlines every once in a while, massive fish caught. And I always joke about that. I've got a couple of buddies who do that. And it makes headlines because there happens to be somebody who writes and reports around.
They
catch those fish a lot.
Every day.
Yes.
Every day that they do.
So,
it's great. I think they of course keep track if some of them are tagged or not tagged, and so they can keep track of how old they are and things like that. But I don't know if I'll be able to reel a fish that heavy in. I'm assuming I will, but we'll see. I don't know if my arms will get burnt out or what. That happened with a muskie this past November. I was like a muscle failure. I mean, I almost didn't have any strength left.
Pardon my French, but this is complete bullshit.
No, it's not.
What's crappy about this is I will be here sitting on my word processor, working on Minnesota Bound. You'll be out traversing the planet, catching monsters.
Aren't you heading to the cabin? What are you doing for the 4th? This is like tradition for you guys.
Well, there will be no white sturgeon.
That's true.
There won't be a glacier. I might get an ice cube to put in
my
soda pop.
You get a snow cone.
Yeah, see, snow cones for second place. So I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Fly fishing. You said you're going to fly fish while you're there.
Maybe. We're trying to set that up. The problem is it takes quite a while to drive down from the glacier, so we only have a half day.
Pardon you. Glacier.
I'll get that right someday. So I'm not sure if we'll have time to do fly fishing there or not. I would like to squeeze a little bit of fly fishing in, but we shortened our trip. We're only there for a few days. We're not there for a full week. So Dan's work is very intense. So we were able to get a short getaway away. But
good.
Yeah.
Good.
What are you guys doing for the 4th?
I don't know. We're going to go up to the cabin up in central Minnesota and hang out with family and The Sherck boys and I will probably set the alarm for 4:50 a.m.
Ooh,
each
really?
morning because it's getting to be that time of year. The boys hop up. They have a piece of grandma's breakfast bread, and then we run out onto the dock into the darkness, jump into the boat, and we've got a couple of spots on Gull Lake where they love to topwater fish.
Oh, that's the best. You know, you and I have been trying to do that for a long time, but so Gull Lake, 5 a.m. is when you guys start fishing?
Yeah, about 10 after by the time they do their doodads and realize they've forgotten their life jackets.
Oh,
So I have
yes,
to run back up
yep.
and get all that stuff. And yeah,
Do your boys love topwater fishing?
they do. It's a wonderful time of year because the lake is very quiet at that point. What's different this year, it seems like the last couple of summers, you get into that topwater season and we're always dealing with the smoke from either the
Oh, you're
western
right.
or the northern fires. So it's
Yep.
this really weird landscape. And that's not going on this year. So mornings and sunrise are going to look very different. They're going to look very normal.
Awesome. That'll be great. I love topwater bass fishing. It is one of my favorite things to do. I prefer it more than walleye fishing or, I love muskie fishing, but topwater bass has got to be, second to that. So.
It's an acquired taste.
Patience. Takes a little bit more patience.
Yeah, you have to know when, where, and how. And once you figure that out, like with Brady Sherck, who's now 13, the first probably year and a half, he didn't catch any fish. And he got pretty disheartened and he wanted to give it up. Meanwhile, I'm catching, 5, 8, 10, 12 fish. And that just makes him angry.
Yep.
But he finally figured it out. And so now he loves it. His little brother, Bennett, is in the same spot Brady was, where he's not having much success because he doesn't quite have a few of the details figured out yet. But
what do you think those details are?
this is you got to come fishing with me and I'll show you.
I know. Well,
But you're gonna be
but
too
our
busy.
listeners can't. Can't leave them hanging.
So there are a couple of tricks of the trade. First off, you're using a much bigger rod than you think you need.
Oh,
Like,
really?
We're throwing 8.5 foot extra heavy rods, almost like musky type stuff with 80-pound braid.
Okay.
That's part of it, tying directly to the frog, because where we tend to hook those fish, very heavy weed cover. Sometimes it's emergent weeds,
Yep.
the kind of stuff that will break regular fishing line. So that's part of it, is gearing up correctly. Wind for us is not so much a factor. There are a lot of people who want topwater fishing only on glass calm water. And that's the visual part of it for people. But really, when it's a little wavy and windy, it's actually very good because it creates more noise as the bait moves across the water. So I really like that part of it. But we have a window, right? The fish come in shallow to feed in that cover in low light hours. And often by 8 a.m., it's done. Those fish are starting to transition out to slightly deeper water, which is why I've loved the fires from the last couple of years, because it creates a haze. So the
dark.
sun is not bright and they tend to stay shallow a little bit longer.
Well, what do you think the learning curve was for Brady and Bennett?
The learning curve was being patient with the hook sets. Everyone thinks.
So I'm asking you that because I think I could learn from this mistake as well. So keep going.
If you just show up.
I know. Well, your schedule, my schedule are like ships in the night.
So we have a rule, the 1, 2, 3. When the fish eats, it's a little bit like buck fever.
Yes.
When you're hunting, people get so excited and they go, oh my gosh, and they set the hook and the frog goes flying. We use a lot of Soft Frogs Terminator, which is one of Rapala's great brands. They have this popping frog that I just
love it.
Love at first sight. But you have to let the fish eat, in your brain go, it ate 1, 2, 3. Now I set the hook. Because they don't grab it and then let it go. It's just not the way it works.
Yeah.
They are very good at taking those baits. You just need to give them time to get it in. They're not going to swallow it. It's not going to be down deep in the,
I know. I've made this mistake a lot of times. I set that hook so fast,
Yes.
and then I was blaming the bass for missing it, actually. I was like, maybe his eyesight wasn't so good. I've come up with a roster of excuses on why I missed it.
As soon as you teach yourself to do the old got it, 1, 2, 3, tight line, set.
Okay.
You
That's
get
a
'em.
good tip.
The other thing people do is they don't set hard enough on those fish because the hooks are a little different
Yeah, they are.
from, conventional trebles and all that, just the way they're in there. So you really have to give them the vinegar, as we say.
Got it.
And that's part of what having the bigger, more stout, longer rod helps do, drive those hooks home. So
Very true.
There you
Well,
go.
you taught me something today.
I hope it helps you on the
I
Fraser
do
River.
too. Because otherwise, the Fraser River, it might. I don't know. With the sturgeon, we'll see. My first experience with a sturgeon, I've not caught a sturgeon here in Minnesota at all. Actually, in fact, I've not been fishing for sturgeon here, so I should try that sometime. But I did have an experience with sturgeon. This was a long time ago on a Minnesota Bound episode that it was at the Mall of America. And believe it or not, this has to be at least 12 years old at this point. We may have to dig this out of the vault that's probably covered in dust at this point of this story. But they invited myself and our crew there to film kind of behind the scenes at the aquarium. And they said that they brought me down in there and like, well, here's the saltwater tank, which this aquarium is still at the Mall of America. So they have the saltwater tank, and of course there's sharks in that tank, and they're friendly sharks, but they're like, we won't put you in that tank. We'll bring you over to the freshwater Minnesota fish. And so they're pointing out the sturgeon, and they're about 6 feet long, and they're black, and there's probably like 6 or 7 of them hanging out in the tank. And they said, well, if you want, you can feed them. And I thought, well, perfect. That, maybe it's like I drop in some goldfish flakes, and there we go. And they're like, no, you have to put a wetsuit on and you get in the water to feed them. And I love adventure. So I'm like, sweet, let's do it. So I put on the wetsuit and get in the tank. And, your heart starts to beat a little bit, even though I know they're harmless. They're just so big. And there's 6 of them and 1 of me in the tank. And it's cold. Like the water was cold. And they hand me a minnow bucket. And they have a little snorkel thing. And they just said, go down and put your hand in the bucket and take out some food and just put your arm out and they'll come and get it. And I was like, okay. And then the camera's rolling. I mean, you just don't say no to those things. You're like, of course. So I grabbed the minnow bucket and I put on my goggles and snorkel and I dive down. I put my hand in the minnow bucket and I pull it out. And I probably have, 200 or 300 earthworms in my hand at this point.
Neat.
And I was like, oh, lovely. And so I put my hand out for the sturgeon, and what happens is sturgeon kind of sees it and they come swimming up because they're sitting at the bottom. They'll come swim up, and they don't eat one worm at a time. I'll just say that. They inhale your hand. They take the whole hand. They take your whole hand and then
slurp.
Yep. And all you have to do is yank your hand out real quick, and you still have all 5 fingers. It's amazing. So that's my one and only experience with a sturgeon was at the Mall of America. So, and I'll never forget that.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah. So, you should try it sometime if you want. You're out and about and you see a sturgeon in the river, just get some earthworms and give it a go.
You've covered the story. Hey everybody, Bill Sherck, the man about the woods. It's time to plan your fall hunt in North Dakota. Get this, with an estimated 3.4 million breeding ducks, North Dakota's central region is prime habitat for hunting waterfowl. In fact, right now, the state's breeding duck index sits 38% above the long-term average. And the water's up too. The spring water index is up 616% over 2021. That's a good thing. Now, when you consider that North Dakota has approximately 700,000 acres of private land open to public walk-in hunting, guess what? You've got an outdoor oasis. For the latest information about public hunting lands and private land open to sportsmen and women, visit North Dakota Game and Fish Department. Bag your limit this fall in North Dakota. Visit legendarynd.com.
Reducing carbon emissions is good for everyone. But how do we reduce emissions while also meeting our world's increasing energy needs? Using propane is an excellent way to reduce emissions while meeting energy needs today. Propane is a clean, non-toxic energy source that helps reduce carbon emissions right now. In fact, propane's carbon intensity score in Minnesota is only 80. Grid electricity in Minnesota, including wind and solar, has a much higher carbon intensity score of 136. Who knew that using propane was much cleaner than electricity? Plus, the abundance of propane and growth of renewable propane means it can be used for generations to come. Millions of Americans rely on propane to heat their homes and businesses, fuel vehicles on road and off, and much more, making propane the right energy right now. Find out more about what propane can do for you and the environment by going to propane.com.
Totally random thought here, but the one sturgeon story that we have not documented that I am dying to get. The sturgeon researchers from the Department of Natural Resources in Minnesota. Any idea how they capture those fish to do their spring studies?
I have no idea, but it's got to be extremely unique.
It is very unique. In the spring, there's this season, right? Up on Rainy River and areas like that, and the fish come in. They literally go to the river, stand on the edge of the river, and wait. And then a 6-foot sturgeon swims by, and they jump in and grab and wrestle the sturgeon.
They tackle it.
They try to. It is cold, it is wet, it is muddy, and they say it is the only way they can effectively capture these massive creatures to do the research.
Isn't that interesting? That's like the noodling. Have you ever tried noodling?
Yeah.
No, you haven't. Are you serious?
Awful.
You have? Where'd you try noodling?
It's the dumbest thing.
Yeah, I think it's not very bright either, but where did you do this?
We did it down south. It might have been for one of the ATV magazine shows that we used to do, but it just...
Where is that footage? I want to see it. Buried in the vault with my sturgeon footage.
I think that one got ruined. It's fine. People noodle, and they do their thing, and they've got the tours, but...
Why would you hop in a swamp and put your arm down a hole where you can't, there's like snakes in some of that water, everything else, and you're just randomly putting your hand around until something launches and latches onto it.
They have their spots and the mud on the edges. They've got the old tree stumps that are hollowed out, and it's folklore. It's what they do. I'm sorry, but the best noodlers are sitting at a table right now going, why would you go to the top of a glacier, I think they're called, and sleep on the ice,
Everybody's got their thing.
I'm not a noodler. I'm not interested in doing it ever again. But
I have to say, though, I do enjoy watching a good noodling video, though, when somebody is totally struggling getting that. It's catfish, isn't that what they're noodling for? Yeah.
Noodling tour. I think we need to get you on a noodling tour.
Well, now that I have my sturgeon experience, I can't be much different. They don't have teeth, so I'm okay.
I turned down a noodling story a couple of years ago. I don't know if you know this or not, but your father, Ron, had said,
He's like, Bill will do this.
Bill will do this, exactly. Mikey eats anything. He likes it. He wanted to send me to Nebraska because they noodle down there. But here's how they get to those fish. They get on the river, wherever it is. And those metal, kind of like long, rectangular shaped stainless steel or whatever, tin bins that they use on farms for animals to drink out of?
Yeah, big troughs.
They use those almost like pseudo canoes to float down the river to their noodling spots.
No way. That's epic. So... did they put something on it to make it buoyant?
I said no to the assignment, Laura.
I know.
So,
how did you say no to that one?
I might bring that one back to life.
Then you're going to suggest I do it.
Laura, I have a really cool story.
We'll send Travis down there for that one. He'd love it. Travis isn't in here to defend himself either.
It's not a Travis story. It's a Laura story.
Oh, well, I guess. I'll just put on my mesh gloves.
Can we talk about something different?
The noodling.
The noodling.
Yes. Well, catfish are pretty good to eat. Do you like catfish? What's your favorite fish to eat? I've never asked you that.
Oh, man. That's a good question. I like wild salmon.
I do too.
Obviously, I love walleyes. I like crappies. I like brook trout. I don't eat that many of them, but they're very, very sweet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. Lake trout. I like lake trout probably because of the tradition and everything around catching them and how and where. And, we smoke lake trout. Have you ever smoked a lake trout?
I haven't. I've had smoked lake trout, but I have not smoked one myself.
You should try it sometime.
I bet it's really good.
It is, but the tough part is figuring out which end you light.
Why?
Let's move on. Are you ready to go to Alaska yet?
I totally am. You know what? You think the thin air is really going to affect me there versus here?
I'm just playing. I just like all kinds of fish, but like my diet is very different from yours.
Is
right?
it?
Well, it is. The boys even asked the other day, when we lived in California back in the late 70s, we'd eat shark steaks. Like that was a normal thing. And
I've never had a shark steak.
You don't hear about
at all
eating that anymore. So
no.
I don't know.
I had going back to sturgeon, not to bring it back there, but I had sturgeon one time. Oh, I think I've tried it twice now. I am not a fan of eating sturgeon. I've had it at 2 wonderful restaurants, and both times I did not like the flavor profile of sturgeon at all.
I was going to say, there's a reason Jell-O doesn't have sturgeon flavor.
Yeah.
It's just
doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
No.
Is it unfair to compare it to lutefisk a little bit?
I think lutefisk, because they brine it in that, whatever they brine it is, that salt solution they're brining it in.
Whatever the white powder is.
Scary. I think that's brings back childhood nightmares for a lot of people if you grew up in any Scandinavian household.
Have you had lutefisk?
Yes. And now that I'm an adult, I will never have it again. Now that I can make my own choices.
So what are your choices in fish?
I'm a big fan of wild caught salmon. One of my favorites was when we caught it on Lake Michigan, of all places. We were doing some salmon fishing there, and we drove home, and I made it that night. I love doing that, with either wild turkey, having food that was harvested that morning and never freezing it and cooking it. To me, it's, for some reason, it just tastes a lot better. But that was really good that day when it was so freshly caught. So I love, salmon is really good. I like walleye. Halibut I'm a big fan of halibut.
Yeah,
ocean fish, you can't really beat. There's a lot of ocean fish that's pretty good. But yeah, I would say salmon, halibut, and walleye are probably my top tier. I've cooked up some swordfish fillets before. I do a lot of cooking at home. So as much as I do some fun recipes for the show, I do a ton of cooking at home. So I love experimenting with trying new things. And I'll ask when if I'm at the grocery store or whatever, if it's not wild caught, I'll ask flavor profiles of fish and try new ones that I've not tried before just to try it. I've had some disasters, but I like experimenting and trying new things. So that would probably be my top profile as well.
Well, as soon as you invite me over for dinner to try one of these amazing meals, I'll invite you out for topwater bass fishing.
Topwater bass. Well, that will work. We could do.
We've only known each other for 2 decades.
It's been 20 years now, hasn't it? I know.
You're my homie.
I appreciate it. I know it's been a good run, Bill. I have to tell you. So I recently posted something on social media, and we posted on Minnesota Bound page as well. And we were asking people to let us know. It was for a Coors giveaway, and the contest is over, so can't enter in right now. But we were asking people to share their favorite lakes, and the responses that we got, I read all of them, and because I was enjoying hearing everybody's sweet and fun memories that they've had from either with grandparents or kids, or why they love that lake so much. And it was just I I don't know. I was just having like a proud moment of Minnesotans that everybody has a certain lake that they love and they're so proud of that lake and they care about the lake and they have all these precious memories there that have gone on generation after generation. So it was really fun to read through all of those and just some really endearing memories that they were posting. So do you have a favorite lake?
Of course I do.
Which one?
Gull Lake, bar none, right?
Yes, popular.
So most people know this. I was born in Canada, not on a glacier, but
Oh, that's unfortunate.
in a city.
Yes.
They have those up there. And we moved down to Minnesota in the 70s, and my parents wanted a place in the woods because the Sherck family had a cabin on the Ottawa River at a little French logging town called Fort Calange. And that's how my dad grew up in the woods. So he wanted something like that here. And in the 70s, Gull Lake was that spot.
It sure was. It was epic in the 70s, too.
It's-
Paul Bunyan land? You must have spent time there.
So I was, small world, I was in the ice rink last night talking with my good friend John Schwingler about Paul Bunyan land because a buddy of his, the dad started it. And yes, that was iconic. That was my marker because back in the day, driving from Minneapolis to Brainerd, which now takes me 2 hours and 10 minutes door to door to get from the house to the cabin. But back in the day, that was a road trip. That was leaving the city to go to the woods. And the marker was Paul Bunyan. This, statuesque, I don't know how tall he was.
He's huge.
Well,
the best part is, I don't know if they still do this. Is that park still open? It is, isn't it?
it is not in Brainerd. It's now, bowling alleys and Fleet Farms and Kohl's
Yes.
shopping centers, which, pardon me, sucks.
Yeah.
But they picked everything up and they moved it to the east about halfway towards Mille Lacs Lake. So out in the country is Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan's still there. So does he still talk to you? Because you remember when we'd visit in the 80s, 70s and 80s, and somehow miraculously they knew your name and
Yep.
it'd be like, Laura,
Yep.
Blue Ox says hello or whatever.
So my sister's name, a funny story about that, my sister's name is also Laura. And I can remember going one time and Paul Bunyan was like, "Hey, Laura, nice legs."
Oh, no. He was inappropriate?
Well, I
What?
won't give away the secret, but there is a little, what do you call it? Like an outhouse looking little cabin shack thing.
Yes.
And there's like some 14-year-old kid with a Radio
Of
Shack
course.
headset,
Classic.
whose voice
Just
gets
summer
translated. Yes.
So, did you get to know this person in the back booth? Were you like feeding him things to say to your sister? Or
No,
he just
not at
was
all.
saying that? That is so funny.
We'd pull in, all I wanted to go is ride the little choo-choo train, and the 14-year-old's trying to pick
"Whoa,
up my sister.
That's classic.
Oh, gosh. Great memories. The other thing about Paul Bunyan land that was so amazing to me, speaking of Gull Lake, they used to give helicopter rides.
Yes, I remember that.
And it was like the MASH helicopter,
Yes.
the glass bubble in front.
Yep.
And the guys who flew those, there were two pilots, as I remember, and they had two helicopters, and they were just doing these rotations. They'd go out over Steamboat Bay, which was on the southern part of Gull Lake. And I'm a little kid. Like, that's my boundary. I can't leave Steamboat Bay. It's got to be where my parents can see me. And I'm in this little 12-foot aluminum boat. But these helicopters would buzz over, and it was the coolest thing. And then you'd go back towards town for dinner or something like that, and you'd watch these helicopters, and they'd dive out of the sky. I mean, they'd have people and literally go nose straight down towards Earth, and they'd hit the brakes 20 feet
Of course
above
they do.
and flatten out and land, and
Those were like the good old days.
It would be
what
so
happened to
illegal.
those helicopter rides?
well, they all crashed probably, so they're gone. But yeah, they're just great memories, and that was Paul Bunyan land, man.
So, did you go to Camp Confidence that was there at?
Well, I wasn't. No, I wasn't a visitor to Camp Confidence.
Yes.
but
you were familiar with the actual event because that was a huge event to
Oh.
raise money for Camp Confidence.
I get to get on my soapbox right now.
I love. Well, my dad used to participate as a fishing guide. So Camp Confidence, the fundraiser was held at. Is it Cragen's?
Yep.
Is that where it's?
Craigan's, Madden's, it's been all over the place.
Yes.
Yes.
And it used to be this. Do they still have it? the event?
One thing at a time.
Okay,
We'll get to that. Tell
I'm
your
jumping.
story.
I'll tell my story. So Camp Confidence event was this huge like trifecta event. They had a golf tournament going on, a fishing tournament going on, and did they also have tennis tournament? I believe they did.
They might have back in the day.
Okay, back in the day, it was
back when tennis balls came in metal cans that you cracked open.
I know the sound. It was like the best ever. So all three of these tournaments were happening all at the same weekend, and Craigan's. Which one? I'm getting these two. I always get Craigan's and Madden's mixed up. Which one has like the big lodge that has the big staircase going up from the lake?
Madden's, you were thinking of.
Is it Madden's?
Yeah.
Okay. So Madden's Resort, and you're probably not going to relate this like I do, really reminded me of the movie Dirty Dancing because it had that same lodge. Do you remember that lodge in Dirty Dancing? Bill?
And I was your Patrick Swayze, and you never said hi.
Hey, I'm really picky when it comes to my drinking water, and I have the reverse osmosis drinking water system from Connecticut, and I love it. It takes out contaminants in the water, it removes chlorine, and most important, it tastes great, which is the one thing I'm probably most picky on is how does my water taste. So having Connecticut also means that I use less plastic water bottles, which we all know is a definite bonus for our environment. For more information, visit Connecticut.com to find a dealer near you.
Hi there, Ron Schara here for Star Bank. If you're putting your money into mega banks down the street, who knows where that money's being used? Bank locally. Keep your money local with a community bank that actually cares about you, your family, your business, and your goals. Check out the bank we use at Minnesota Bound. Try Minnesota's own Star Bank. You can find them online at starbank.net. When you call Star Bank, you actually hear a real living person answering the phone. Star Bank has 10 convenient locations around Minnesota to serve you and all the mobile banking products that you need to manage your money. Check out all that Star Bank has to offer at starbank.net.
Hewitt Docks, Lifts, and Pontoon Legs began in a small south-central Minnesota town with a mission to make dock install and removal easier by inventing the Roll-A-Dock. Well, now the company has evolved to provide everything you might need to improve your lake time. In addition to the classic Roll-A-Dock or the new Ultra Dock system, Hewitt offers all-terrain staircases, gangways, canopies, and lifts, along with any accessory you might need. Celebrate 50 years of business with us. Go to HewittRad.com to enter for a chance to win a free dock and monthly prizes. Hewitt Docks, Lifts, and Pontoon Legs. Work hard, play harder. You deserve a Hewitt.
So when I was young, and my dad would take my sister and I to the Camp Confidence event. And he would be fishing all day long. So they had all these professional guides, per se, that would take people out to raise money for Camp Confidence, and it would be a fishing tournament. And they're doing the same thing with professional golfers, and they'd have, athletes up there participating and doing the whole deal. Well, my sister and I were little rugrats, and we were just sent loose to run around all day. And it was always so much fun because the people that worked at Madden's were from all over the world. So you were meeting, and they're like young. These cute guys are like in their early 20s. They're in from Sweden and Norway and all the things. And of course, my sister and I were like, 13, and she was 16 or whatever. And we would end up like chatting with these super cute waiters that were working there. And my dad's just out fishing, and we were just having like a heyday because we thought there's so many cute boys everywhere.
Yep. That's what those massive resorts were about.
Yes.
Right?
And I don't know if they still employ people from all over the globe, but that was like the coolest thing.
All over the place. So yes, that fishing tournament still exists. My history with it, I was in my little 12-foot aluminum boat with my 3 horsepower 1958 Evinrude on the back. True story. And I was chasing all these famous guys around. Back then, it was Marv Kep and Al Lindner.
I remember Al Lindner being there.
The Nisswa Guide Crew. And I knew who they were. And as a kid, all I wanted to do was follow and watch. But I had to do it in very small bursts because, I'd be trickling across the lake in my little
You're like stalking people at that
boat.
point.
And they're in their bigger, fancier boats, so I could never keep up with
Of course.
them. But that's how I tried to learn. And I'd watch those guys during that tournament, and they it was always larger than life to me.
I bet.
Move ahead a few years. Now, I guess in some way, I'm that guy.
Yes,
because
you
I've
are.
been a guide there for, I don't know how many years, 15, 20 years, something like that. And that event was just 2 weeks ago. And I was looking for a picture here on my phone.
I love that they still do it.
Da, 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 da. Ba-da-ba. I'll just start with this one. You can paint a picture. I'm showing you a picture from my phone. What do you see?
That is a Northern Pike.
Yes, with two boys
Your sons are holding them.
high-fiving. And so every year my parents pay for them to be my partners in the boat, which is super cool for me.
Oh, that's cool.
So we just kind of go fishing. I was going to try to find another picture here for you, but anyhow, we did quite well.
Awesome.
We caught a lot of really big pike. And the way that tournament
Is that a mixed bag tournament?
Yeah, so that tournament is set up. There are 4 categories. There's a pike, there's a bass tournament, there's a walleye tournament, and then there's a mixed bag tournament, which means you must have 1 walleye, 1 bass, 1 pike. But what is fun about it is you don't have to declare in the morning. You just go out and fish and see how the day unfolds. So we go out to one of my best walleye spots, and the walleyes are gone. But it's big pike, big pike, big pike, big pike. So
Nice.
now we're like, oh, well, we're going to enter the pike category today. That's kind of cool. And then we catch a big walleye. You go, oh, well, geez, if we could catch it. And then we catch a decent bass.
Ooh, decisions.
Now it's a game of decisions. So
Yeah.
the little Sherck boys are in the boat all nervous about, oh, what should we do? And oh, my gosh, we saw Tony Roach, who's the best walleye angler on the
Watch
planet.
out for Tony.
He's
sells some good
posted
bass guys,
an
you know.
8-pound walleye, so there's no way we can do walleye. And you're kind of
Did you
like,
be going on social media to see what other people are posting?
no,
Because
but
that would be actually super strategic.
but they use, an online reporting system now. It's a catch and
got
release
it.
tournament.
Okay.
So everything's going in digitally. So for the first part of the tournament, you can see what the other teams are doing and where you stack up.
Nice. Yep.
And then with 2 hours left, they shut it down. It goes black. It goes dark, so you don't know.
Oh, that's when the nerves kick in.
So these little blondies are in the boat, like freaking out about, should we go
There's
here?
got to be
Should we
like
go
certain
there?
stats on that. You needed to put it into some sort of algorithm. And,
And I
figure it
love
out.
to just sit back and go, guys, this is your decision. And so we came back and
What'd you do? Mixed bag?
And no, they ended up doing the pike
Nice.
category
Love it.
and did quite well.
Awesome.
I think they ended up winning the pike category by 8 or 9 pounds.
Really?
Which
That's like unheard of. Was no one wanted to play in the pike category or what? That's insane.
no, they just caught that many big fish. And you know me better than most people. I could give a hoot about competitive fishing.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't like it that much. That's not why I fish.
Yeah.
It's not me against you. It's
out having a good
sunrise.
time. Yeah.
It's the smoky haze. It's the fun of people, that's not why I fish. But anyhow, it was just really, really fun. And they started announcing. It was great because the boys got called up on stage and they said, they're showing the pictures of these monster pike. And they're like, how did that happen?
Nice.
And Bennett looks at them and says, well, why do you need to know? They're asking for his secrets. And it was pretty funny to see this little 11-year-old chirp. So anyhow, there you go.
No one gives up their secrets. We know that from the crappie contest. I mean, you ask anybody where they're fishing and everybody has some sort of smart answer they're going to give back. It's pretty funny.
The boys were lucky enough to do well last year. They've got some plaques around and all that.
Nice.
So anyhow, the point is the Sherck boys have been very fortunate. And the whole point of that tournament is it's a fundraiser for Confidence Learning Center, which is an unbelievable camp up in the Brainerd Lakes area that gets thousands upon thousands of kids and adults with disabilities outdoors.
Yep.
And what I do, I always tell people, all right, you came and you helped guide for the fundraiser. That's awesome. You are appreciated for that big time. But to truly understand and see the money go full circle, you need to come back for Fishing Has No Boundaries, which is an August event up there where we take kids from the camp and young adults out for a day of fishing. And you get to see how the money is spent.
Yeah.
Because you're paying for those campers to go and not have to pay.
Yep.
So you take these people out and you help them catch fish. And I always let all my guests drive the boat and just do circles out in the middle of the lake and do whatever the heck, because those are sensations that can't be repeated anyplace else.
Of course.
And we are very lucky to have the resources we have and the boats and the gear and la, la, la. That's my obligation to share it, and that's the moment. And the Sherck boys come now, and they guide as part of that. They're the net boys and all that, and it's
awesome.
It's amazing. It's the thing that brings me to tears.
Yeah,
every
it's
year.
pretty cool. That and the fact that Camp Confidence has been around. I mean, I was there literally when I was, I don't know, 6. I mean, it has been. I don't know how many
my
years
gosh.
it's been. It has been like 50. This camp has been going on for at least 50 years.
Wait, let's do the math. Where's my abacus?
That's not even accurate math because that camp could have been around way before I even was on this planet. So
Never again. Every week, somebody walks up to me. So, how old is Laura? What's her age?
do they really? That's good. Keep them guessing.
You know what I
always
say to them?
She's old enough to know better. That's what I always tell people. I'm old enough to know better.
I have one line.
What
to
is
say.
it? She's ancient.
don't-
That's what she is.
Don't ask. I would never kiss and tell. And they all go, and then they forget about
now
you.
you're just
and
spreading
ask,
rumors.
No, and then they start asking about Raven. Forget about, but
I
yeah.
know. Oh, I mean, that is good. That's always a
That
good
is-
sidebar. Get him going on Raven, and then you're good because that's
That
what everyone's
is my
talking about.
life. You don't know that. I didn't know that you went to pick up young Swedish hunks at Madden's.
Well, this is when I was like 10 and 12. My dad doesn't even know I was doing that. I was like, these boys are so cute. And I was, chasing them around
God.
Madden's up and down those stairs. I was dirty dancing. I was kind of hoping I was going to meet my like little Patrick Swayze. That never happened, but it was fun to chase him around for an afternoon.
Because I was out in a 12-foot aluminum boat with a 3-horsepower motor acting like I was lost.
With binoculars. You're like stalking all those guides.
So Madden's is a massive complex on Gull Lake. It's a huge.
Beautiful.
And right next to it is Craigan's, another massive, Minnesota resort. But what most folks don't know is way back in the day, Craigan's was actually 3 different resorts. So when I was a little kid, the big buildings, that was Craigan's. There were some cabins on the hill in the White Pines. That was a little family resort called Chronables, which is where we started going. And then down below that, the place with the pools and the cabins right on the beach, that was known as Island View. You went to Madden's. I'd always find a friend, and we'd go down to Island View, to the outdoor pools,
Oh.
to try and
I see what
find
you're doing.
cute girls. Which, unbeknownst to me at the time, there's a big fancy house just south past Island View. That was the Lindner's house. So Billy Lindner, another famous angler and journalist in this industry, he was coming from the house to Island View's pools to pick up the girls too. So he was like our competition.
No.
And we just laughed so hard about that stuff, right?
That's awesome.
I never did get to see Patrick Swayze.
I know. I never did either. I'm telling you, I never found him at Craigan's, but
Who was the cute girl in Dirty Dancing? What was her name?
Jennifer Garner.
Was it?
Gray. Thank
Jennifer
you.
Grey.
I'm not good at the actors and actresses' names. I've always
Jennifer
messed
Grey.
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jennifer Grey. Yes.
Yeah, never saw her.
Didn't.
In fact, I never got a date.
Did
in
you at
Island
least
View.
try the dance
Ever.
move with some gal you met at the pool where you kind of lift them up and
No,
do that
I'd
whole
go down to the beach and I get a bucket of sand and I put some water on it and start
just make sand castles and
crafting
stuff?
it like I was making a pot, and everyone thought I was weird.
It's good to be weird. I always just say stay weird. I mean, that's what makes people unique, right?
Crazy.
All right. Well,
Go home and pack.
I am going to go home and pack. I actually, where I first went ice climbing was here in Minnesota. Did you know that you can ice climb here in Minnesota, in Sandstone, Minnesota? I'm sure you do. But if you want to test out ice climbing without going to Alaska, I just want our listeners to know of this hidden little secret, which may not be a secret anymore, but there is an ice climbing wall that they specifically build for ice climbing in the winter. And there's a company there called Hardwater Sports that Tony is the owner. Scout, his dog, is adorable. And he will take you out on an ice climbing tour. And literally, I don't know the total age range of anybody that can do it, but it's quite, it's not necessarily easy to do, but really anybody can do it. It's very safe, and it's a great way to start ice climbing. And I actually find ice climbing to be much easier than rock climbing. I tried that once, and that's pretty challenging. But anyway, that's where I originally got the taste of ice climbing, was right here in Minnesota. So now I'm just going to take it to a whole nother level and pray that I'm harnessed in and the ice doesn't crack and I fall down a crevice.
Well, I won't be there, so you'll be safe. If I was walking on the
You'd
ice,
probably
I'd be
push me.
cracking. Go have a great trip.
Thank you. Well, let's chat about it when I get back and the adventure. I will be taking, of course, lots of pictures and
Good.
hanging out around a campfire. So we'll see how it goes. But I hope you guys have a nice 4th of July holiday up
You
at
do
your
the same. Travel safely.
cherished Gull Lake. It is a special place. It's very popular now, of course, but a lot of good memories there for sure.
Well, that about does it for the Minnesota Bound podcast. The stories behind the stories. Presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems. The Sherck family uses Connecticut, and you should too. Also, we'd like to thank the Minnesota Historical Society, Oreo and Ritz, Hewitt Docks, Star Bank, the bank we use at Ron Schara Productions, the Minnesota Propane Association, and bag your limit this fall in North Dakota. Visit legendarynd.com to plan your visit. Until next week, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.